and it gave me one in the form of Edgar Allan Poe. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So we'll end.
Even you can get the style.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even get into that last time, but yeah, you can absolutely create a style. Humor is still tough, but yeah, you can definitely create different styles with it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man. Use voices. I mean, there's so many directions. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah. I mean, if you can imagine it, you can create it for sure with
Yeah.
this. So, all right.
All right.
Let's
Let's go 3, 2, and 1. And we are live. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool.
Sean, today is our pre-Christmas episode. This is on a Thursday. We're taking time off tomorrow. So today we're going to get into some random flight, so to speak, but we'll be talking about advertising, some things that many people may not know about good old Saint Nick and Rudolph the reindeer.
And Frosty. I forgot. I've got Frosty in there too.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. And that's going to actually send us in a direction of kind of advertising characters in general. I found a cool article or Wikipedia entry, I guess, on all these characters that have been used throughout the years. And I was looking back through it and I was like, that's kind of fun. We'll play with that on the show. And then, also I got a cool piece of direct mail. So we'll go over that.
Okay.
Actually got, look at that, a dollar bill letter.
A dollar bill letter.
That's
a real one, right?
That's a real one. That's not one of the fake printed ones. If it was fake, it'd be like $1 million bill, right? But and inserted properly, like right when I opened it, it's right there,
right
on the inside. That's important. So little things like that.
Okay, I can't wait to hear what this is about.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be good. So about as far as beer goes, I saw you had something pulled up in the green room. I'm going with one I had a couple weeks ago. I'm going back to my unicorn farts after dark, just because I like saying it.
Right.
And kind of clearing out the fridge of some of the packs that I've had over the last month or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just be enjoying the unicorn farts, which is for those who did not hear or see, from Pastryarchy. Unicorn farts after dark, 8.5%.
It's a good retread. That's a good retread.
Yeah. So what do you got over there on your end?
So I've had this one. I think I've had this one before. Typically, it's a holiday stout, but it is the let me pull it up here. It's a Samuel Smith, not Sam Adams, not Samuel Adams.
Different Sam.
This is a different Sam. This is the Samuel Smith Imperial Stout. This is actually from England. This distinctive type of beer was originally brewed to withstand the abuses of shipping and foul weather to Imperial Russia. I wonder if that was all Imperial stouts were. I don't know. It was a favorite of Russian nobility whose taste for the finest food and drink was world famous. A rich, flavorful brew, deep chocolate in color with roasted barley nose flavor that is a complexity of malt, hops, alcohol, and yeast fermented in stone Yorkshire squares. 7%? Was it? No, 7% ABV. I thought it was higher, but I guess not. So 7% ABV. I got a feeling I know what this one's going to taste like.
Good or bad?
If I recall, it was really good. So
all right.
So
I'm asking Chat GPT about the history of Imperial Stout.
There you go. We should just have Chat GPT will be our new producer on the show.
Yeah, he'd just be our info guy, We better warn what's his name on the Joe Rogan show that looks up stuff. Like, he's gonna be out of a job. He'll still have to sit there and press the button, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but Imperial Stout, also known as Russian Imperial Stout, is a strong dark beer that originated in the 18th century, is first brewed in London, England, for export to the court of Catherine the Great in Russia. The beer was brewed to be higher alcohol content and more robust flavor to withstand the long journey to Russia. And it became known as Imperial Stout as a result of its association with the Russian imperial court.
Well, there you go.
There it is. So yes, so it's the high alcohol content that allows it to ship well.
Yep.
Absolutely. See, that was intentional, but IPAs, on the other hand, was a mistake.
That was
when they got shipped to England, it spoiled on the way, and they got used to the spoiled flavor.
That's right.
Of an IPA. So,
well, you might want to verify that with Mr. Chat GPT, just in case. But no, we like that story, so we're not going to verify.
Yeah, we're not going to mess with that. That's a good story to throw people, IPA drinkers, under the bus with. So we're not going to.
That's right. We don't want to verify whether that's true or false. We'll just keep telling that story regardless, because we hate IPAs.
Yep.
All right.
You want to drink Pine Sol? Drink Pine Sol. Don't pretend it's beer.
That's right. Go right ahead. All right. I'm going to take a real good. Oh yeah.
Just while you're doing that, just remind everyone, it's not too late to give the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
You can go to the Original Craft Beer Club, which you can find through our website, persuasionbythepint.com/craft beer. And you can order 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year's worth. You can order ongoing, and each month they will ship either yourself or somebody else you want to ship a case of beer. I think it's 3 of 4 different beers. So a case of 12, but it's 3 bottles of 4 different beers from 2 different breweries. So that's all the math there. Really good stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. You'll get the whole gamut of the types of beers there.
That's right.
It's a really good gift. Jonathan, I know you've given them for business gifts, things like that.
Yeah.
But you can
hey, and listen, if somebody, it's late, we're 2 days from Christmas or 3 days from Christmas. So it's pretty late in the game. You can just print. I think you can print these out. If you give them as a gift, you print them out and just say, hey, look, this is what I've given you. It's on the way. So that's the great thing about it. If you're looking for a last minute gift, you don't have to run. You don't have to get caught up in all the crowd. I was out and about for a couple of hours today, and it was just like, I felt like I was moving in molasses, man. Just everything's slow.
Oh yeah.
If you want to avoid that, just shop online.
Yeah. And persuasionbythepint.com/craft beer. Even if it's after Christmas, you can still give it for the New Year's, for holidays.
Absolutely.
For birthdays.
Some of you, exactly. Some people are out there they're going to get gift cards, like these Visa gift cards or thing. What do? You go over to the Craft Beer Club or persuasionbythepint.com/craft beer. Boom. There you go.
There you go.
You got the perfect way to spend it.
Exactly. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yep.
All right. How'd your beer? So I've already tasted it.
Well, I haven't tasted it yet because we got to do our toast, but I've smelled it and it smells delectable.
All right. Well, let's toast it up.
All right. Man, oh man. That's just better than it smelled.
Good.
Oh man, yes.
I'm going to give mine the same score I gave it last time. I don't remember what that was, but I want to be true, so I'll just keep it the same score.
Man.
Uh-oh. Is it a Christmas miracle?
It is. I'm going to give this one a 5, man. This is like the perfect stout. This is
Catherine the Great would be pleased. You get to keep your head.
This is so good. And I know I probably had this on a episode way back. And I know I've rated it high, but man, this is really good today.
I know we had a Samuel Smith in a different bottle. It's like a darker bottle, brown, like the label.
Yeah, I don't think it was the Imperial Stout though.
But that was a couple of years ago when we were in studio there. Yeah. So it's been a while. But yeah.
This one's worth it. The best, one of the best stouts. It's got a nice balance. Not overly sweet. A lot of these Imperial stouts are a little too sweet.
Yeah.
This one's just perfect down the line.
Cool.
And it may have something to do with the fact that it's only 7%, but it's perfect. It's really good. So
Yeah, sometimes you get above 8 or 9, it can get a little too syrupy for sure. So it's good to know. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one.
Yep. Get you a 4-pack because that's all you 4-pack for $50. No, I'm just kidding. It's reasonably priced at 20.
It's actually not bad for that brand and that.
No, it's good.
All right. Well, it's still cheaper than going out to a bar and getting 4 drinks, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be like $20.
I mean, you're not going to find a Samuel Smith out at your local tavern.
No. If you do, it's going to be $20 a glass.
That's right. So, exactly.
All right. So, should we start or end? I've got a poem. Thanks to our buddy over at Chat GPT, who's becoming a good friend of mine. I've got a poem.
We should give him like a mascot name here on the show because
yeah, Fred or something. Yeah, I've got a poem that I asked it to write. You and I did a show together for one of your other podcasts, and we ended with a poem written, a Christmas poem by Chat GPT. So I'm going to go ahead and read this one.
Send out to all of my clients in the composite space.
There you go. So I wrote one, and it first one it gave me was like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" style. I didn't really like it. I was like, it's okay. Right. So I said, try again, Chat GPT, in the style of Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe.
I figure we're drinking.
Isn't that incredible?
It's Christmas.
You can tell it to write a poem, and you can even tell it whose style of writing you want that poem to reflect.
Did you ever go down in Charleston or Isle of Palms to Sullivan's Tavern?
In Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah.
I think you and your son were going to go. And I told you about Sullivan's.
Oh, no, we did not go to Sullivan's.
That's where Edgar Allan Poe used to write some of his stuff when he was in the military.
Really?
At the little army base there on Isle of Palms, or Sullivan's Island, I guess. Yeah, Sullivan's Island.
Wow.
So anyway, a little bit of trivia there. So here's the poem that ChatGPT gave us for our listeners and for the show in this Christmas season. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious podcast of Persuasion by the Pint, while I nodded, nearly nappy, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this and nothing more." But the tapping continued, louder and more sure, as I rose from my chair and opened the door. And what to my wondering eyes should appear but a team of marketers filled with holiday cheer. "We've come to spread the joy of persuasion," they said with a grin, "and to help your business grow and win. So pour yourself a pint and join us by the fire as we share our secrets and marketing desires." And so I sat and listened as the team shared their tales of persuasive techniques and marketing fails. I learned so much that night and felt a renewed sense of hope that with their help, my business could learn to cope. So here's to Persuasion by the Pint, a podcast like no other, filled with knowledge and inspiration, a true marketing lover. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a masterpiece.
I know, right?
How long did it take you?
It took me 2.3 seconds.
I mean,
it took me longer to write the prompt than it did the Chat GP to write the poem.
That's great. So I'm just curious, what was the prompt that specifically, do you remember?
The original prompt was write a Christmas poem for listeners to a marketing podcast called Persuasion by the Pint. And the first one was the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," which I didn't really like. It was in that style though. So I said, try again in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. So those were the two prompts.
Wow. That's amazing.
I mean, we could do another one. We could do like try again in the style of Eminem.
This is so crazy. So we're doing a rap.
All right, it's funny already when I just glanced at it. the first line. "Yo, yo, yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy assistant back with another holiday ball. I'm here to talk about Persuasion by the Pint, the dopest marketing cash you'll ever find. These guys are the real deal, no fake or fluff. They got the skills and knowledge to make your business tough. They're like Santa's little helper spreading joy and cheer, teaching you how to sell year after year. So if you're looking to up your marketing game, Persuasion by the Pint is where you need to aim. Their episodes are fire, straight up bangers filled with tips and tricks to help you grow your answer. That didn't work. No. So don't sleep on this podcast. It's the one you need to make your business shine, to succeed. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night from Persuasion by the Pint, the podcast that's tight.
Wow, look at that.
It's pretty close. That is pretty darn close.
Very impressive, man. Wow, and this thing only gets better.
So. I know, and it's just it's free, and it's just getting smarter and smarter by the day.
Smart.
So. But now let's do some old-fashioned work here.
So I was a little surprised when you sent me. So we'll get into some advertising characters, advertising campaign characters. But it fascinates me, Christmas, how advertising the men on the Mad Street men, so to speak, sold us Christmas.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Christmas. It's a great holiday. We love it. And it's more than just the consumer side, obviously, but there's a lot of things that go back, like Santa, Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman, like you just said. These are all figments of advertising that were created. And
and there's a lot more of those. We've dipped in and out of some from time to time, like De Beers and the diamonds, the diamond was not that valuable before De Beers got a hold, the marketing agency for De Beers got a hold of it. And then they added on the 3-month salary, and all of a sudden diamonds were forever and worth a lot of money. Right. But the fact is they actually were just pretty average gemstones back in the day before that campaign.
Yeah.
So yes, one of the most, probably one a lot of people know about is Coca-Cola and Santa Claus. So Santa Claus was not invented by Coca-Cola.
No,
but the current version of Santa Claus that we know and love, the jolly red suit, the jolly red belly, the red and white. Notice anything about the colors there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Santa before that had a lot of colors, like maybe it was green, maybe it was, there's different colored suits and things like that.
Sure.
But the classic red and white was a Coca-Cola design.
Yeah, of course.
It came. Yeah, of course. And it's become the most popular Santa Claus, by far, at least here in the U.S. I'm not sure about other countries, but knowing Coca-Cola's footprint, it's probably, worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's one that I'd heard about before. One that maybe people have not heard about as much is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So Rudolph was actually invented by a copywriter named Robert May back in 1939. And it was for the store Montgomery Ward's. Now, some of our younger listeners won't even remember Montgomery Ward's at all, because I think they went out of business in the 90s, I think, or sometime in there. But there was Montgomery Ward's and Sears, which, again, our younger listeners may not remember Sears. But they were the two big retail. They were the Amazons.
They'll never know the sheer joy
catalog
of a Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Oh my goodness,
just like things like huge.
Oh man,
going through that thing. Yeah,
I was gonna say imagine a phone book, but that that isn't working.
There's nothing to compare it to. I mean,
Sears was the Amazon of the day for sure.
Yep.
That's the closest comparison. Montgomery Ward was probably second. Maybe they were like an eBay. They were the second largest, but they were right up there with Sears. So Rudolph was a character in a story that was written by Robert May to generate sales for the toy department at Montgomery Ward. And what's interesting is that they printed up the story and they gave this story away for free in a little booklet as people came into the store to get people to come into the kids department and things like that.
Right. What's
interesting though is about 3 or 4 years after the invention, I think sometime in the 40s, the copywriter was like, I think I could do more with this.
Yeah.
And he actually got the copyright from Montgomery Ward, from the president of Montgomery Ward, and was able to get the copyright for it. And then he ended up selling it back to Montgomery Ward for a little while at like, I think he charged like 50 cents a book, or they were selling it in the stores. And he ended up making all these money on royalties after he got it, even though he got paid to write it in the first place. And then they turned it into a song. He knew a guy who knew who was what's his name, Autry's
Gene Autry.
Gene Autry's songwriter, and they turned it into a song, and that's when it really, really got famous. Was when they turned it into a song. But yeah, it all started as a marketing campaign to sell more toys at Montgomery Ward.
Wow.
So kind of crazy. And you know, you never know where these things are going to go and where they end up and how they just very quiet, a very successful campaign can just turn into just something we think is just part of culture.
Right.
And in fact, it started as an advertising campaign.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how you actually know I mean, you can't really tell till looking back that it was super successful. But it did do well from my understanding and what research I can find. It did do pretty well for Montgomery Ward as an advertising campaign as well. So that's kind of a cool one.
What about the Frosty?
Frosty though is so Frosty. As I was looking up these characters and things like that. Frosty, interestingly, was not an advertising campaign.
Okay.
But the reason I wrote that one down is because it actually never mentions Christmas. It's not a Christmas song. It's a winter song.
Okay.
Yeah. But it just goes to show how things can get kind of attached to each other.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, because of the season and things like that. But yeah, Frosty the Snowman, if you listen to the lyrics, it never mentions Christmas. It's just it's more of a winter time type song.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. Like how we just assume, oh, this is a Christmas song.
Right.
But it's not. It's more of a winter song.
Yeah.
So you can keep singing that one after this weekend. You can just keep singing that one all winter long, especially with this little cold snap we're having.
That's right.
So those were the big ones, like those, you know, Santa Claus and Rudolph. I haven't seen a lot of others. If you know of some, you know, feel free to write in. So then I was like, well, you know, what else could we talk about on the show? And I looked up like some of the best Christmas ads of all time, and a lot of those are video based because they're, you know, most of them are TV type ads.
Yeah.
Which is hard for us to show with audio and everything on here. Those were interesting though. I'd forgotten about some of them. A lot of them from the 90s were considered the best.
In terms of characters. Yeah.
In terms of just general like ads in general. But then that got me to thinking about characters. And that's when I stumbled across this Wikipedia entry about characters, American advertising characters. And we know these are characters. We know they're in ads. And even today, like this, the reason I want to bring this up is because it still works. Like it's still a very interesting way to do advertising. And it does tend to be people or companies with big brands, right? So if we think about current characters that are on TV right now, I can think of, there's Flo from Progressive, and now there's a whole ensemble, right, for Progressive. There's Flo, there's Jamie, like there's a whole cast of those characters.
That's right. Yep.
And then you've got Lily from the AT&T store.
Yep, that's right.
She's the store manager. She's become popular now, and she's, you know, I've often wondered, like for these actors, like that probably starts out as like and then next thing you know, they're like probably got $1 million I don't know what they make. I haven't checked, but
I'd say they're doing pretty well. I mean,
I would guess they're doing pretty well at this point. Where
you get typecast pretty. I mean, it's pretty easy to get typecast there in that spot, but you know, it's like Flo and Lily. You know, you don't see them outside of there.
Yeah, it's tough to see them outside of there. Another one is Mayhem. These are all insurance, by the way. It's weird.
Yeah, Mayhem. Yeah,
Mayhem's another good character.
Allstate guy, the guy with the deep voice.
And that's not really a character. He's more of a spokesperson. I don't consider him an actual character.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But Jake from State Farm definitely is.
Jake. Yep.
It's interesting how these are all insurance companies. Like I was trying to think like outside of that, who are the other characters? So as I was scrolling through here, some of these I don't remember. I don't know if you do. Some of these are older than us, but like A&W Restaurants had the Burger family. Papa Burger, Mama Burger, Teen Burger.
Yeah.
But as I thought about that, I was like, do you remember back, Jonathan, when you and I were growing up in the 80s or even 70s, late 70s, early 80s, the McDonald's characters?
Oh, yeah.
You had Ronald, but then you had the Hamburglar, you had Grimace.
That's right.
You had that whole cast of characters.
Yeah.
I remember I used to have a set of plates
Those
They were doing
fried
like,
things were spooky,
oh yeah, the fry burglars or whatever. Hamburglar was there, but yeah, then they had
Yeah.
the fry guys.
The Fry Guys were kind of weird looking. They're like,
Yeah,
oh man, I want them
they're
showing
almost
up.
like, I wonder if that's where the ghost from Pac-Man came from. It's kind of like the fry guys because they're
That's
kind of,
right. They kind of look like that.
yeah, they're kind of similar. But I remember having a whole set of plates, because you could, if you bought a couple times when you went to McDonald's, you could collect the plates.
Oh yeah.
They
I
don't do
remember
that.
having the glasses, like
Yeah.
the drinking glasses with all the
Yes.
characters, and
They don't do that
yeah,
anymore. Now it's
nope,
Monopoly board game, like,
right,
but
exactly,
to have some like tangible stuff again, I think that would be cool.
yeah,
That'd be kind of cool to bring back.
yeah.
Um, and here's another one. I was like A&W root beer. They had the Great Root Bear. I don't remember that
Hmm.
one either. Must
I
not have
don't,
been great.
yeah, I don't remember that one.
But some of these have been around a while. Like when I was going through these, the Aflac Duck, another insurance company,
Yeah, wow.
2000, it's
Hmm.
22 years old. Like he hasn't aged a day. Like I don't
Right.
understand.
No.
Like he's no gray.
And
I guess he's already
it's
white.
amazing to see how that character has evolved, because it used to be, I don't think it was so predominant in commercials, but it started out as the
It was almost a soundbite at first,
yeah, yeah, exactly. But
and
now
now
it's like its own character that's, conversing with, human characters, Coach Saban and,
yeah, Dion,
Deion Sanders. So,
and now they've introduced the goat,
yep, that's
right,
right. Yeah,
for the
yeah,
Gap,
yeah,
because he said the goat says Gap,
yep.
because they're a Gap insurance company. So that's interesting to see kind of how that has evolved.
Hmm.
Ajax Cleanser, the Ajax Pixies, obviously that's the 40s and 50s. Do not remember that.
Hmm.
So Speedy Alka-Seltzer, I remember seeing some ads of this, and apparently he must have come back recently.
Hmm.
But he's like the little fast, like a old timey cartoon that works really fast.
Oh, look at that! They did bring him back.
Yeah, they brought him back from the 50s and 60s, and now again in 2010 to present.
Wow.
And some of these are like space ads. They're not all TV. There's
Hmm.
Mayhem from Allstate.
Yeah. Right.
Um, some of these are like really like they don't even have names. They just have like Alphabet cereal. I don't remember most of these.
Yeah.
I do remember like some kids or something from Alphabets.
Hmm.
Um, AMC theaters. There was Clip, a figure made out of discarded movie film who appears in the coming attractions feature. I think I remember that briefly, but I
Man,
remember
I
this
don't.
one. You remember this one from
Yeah,
the American Tourist, the luggage mauling gorilla? Now, if you had to
I don't
ask
remember
me,
that.
I would have sworn that was Samsonite,
Yeah.
but I think it was
Really?
American.
Okay.
I think it
No,
was
I don't.
American Tourister. Yeah, it was a big gorilla, and he would like jump up and down and slam the suitcases around.
Hmm.
Um, Jeeves from Ask.com, I vaguely remember,
I
but
remember
there's
Jeeves. Yeah.
yeah,
I remember, and obviously Aunt Jemima. She got
canceled.
nixed.
Yep. There's Lily Adams from the AT&T store.
Yep, that's right.
It's already been around she's been around since 2013. I would have
Yep.
never guessed that if you had asked me that in like trivia.
No,
Um,
that sounds right. I mean, I remember them running commercials
yeah.
back for the last decade
Yeah.
with her.
So some of the other ones, Bartles and
Oh,
James.
look at that. Big Boy too. Big Boy restaurants. I remember Big Boy.
Yeah. They had the whole statue, kind of like a Buc-ee's, right? Buc-ee's has got the beaver outside. And was it Shoney? I guess that is Big Boy and Shoney's the same. It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Boy restaurants and Shoney's are the same.
Right. So they had the giant guy out front, in his overalls holding up a big
Holding
giant
a burger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So those yeah, it's interesting. Just going back on some of these, like, oh yeah, I kind of remember those. And of course, I remember Rosie the waitress with Bounty paper towels.
Yep.
They could bring her back today, I think, in a new kind of updated version.
Yeah.
But that one was really good. Reminded me of the old sitcom Flo too.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah, Flo's Diner or something. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
So yeah, it's just interesting how many characters and how well a lot of these characters worked. Some of them were duds, but I mean, like, look at that. Rosie was 20 years where she was the spokesperson for Bounty. So if you can find a good character, it's something you can use for a long time. David Ogilvy talked about, you have a big idea when it lasts for 30 years.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we want to move from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah, some of these, it actually surprised me they didn't last longer because
Yeah.
I remember the Bud Night from Bud Light.
Yeah.
Remember that 2017 to
Yeah.
2019?
Yep.
It seems like those lasted longer with the nights.
Yeah. That was only 2 years.
That was
Yeah.
only 2 years.
Spuds McKenzie was only 3 years. I would have thought
Yeah,
that was longer.
exactly.
I think he retired and went to Target because right now he's
That's
he's
right.
at Target now.
Yeah, looks like it.
He jumped ship and went to Target. Yeah, so that was Bud Light, and then Budweiser. You had the Budweiser Frog, which dominated the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the
Yep,
Bud?
that's right. Yep.
That was one. That was a big one. Of course, the Clydesdales have.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most iconic.
1930s. Can you look at that?
1930s to present.
Good night. That's what 90 something, 90 years.
Yeah,
90.
yeah, we're almost at 100 years. Another decade will be at 100 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they worked all these other ones in with it. Frank and the Louis Lizards. I remember those guys. The Lizards for Budweiser.
Mm-hmm.
Look how many Burger King has been through. They have not been able to figure it out. I don't know how Burger King is still in existence.
The Wizard.
No offense to anybody who loves Burger King, but like they've had the Burger King, and he's come and gone. 74 to 90, 2004 to 11, and then 2016 to present. Right? He's got the big head.
Mm-hmm.
But look at some of these others. Sir Shake-a-Lot. He was a knight who craved milkshakes. The burger thing.
I don't hear it. Yeah, no clue.
Don't remember that one. The
Duke of Doubt. Wow, that's bad.
He was the arch nemesis of the Burger King. So I don't remember those shows. I may have to take some time this holiday weekend to like go look some of these up.
Jump on YouTube and see some of these old commercials with the Duke of Doubt and the Wizard of Fries.
That's so funny. There's obviously like some that was all of those.
Now I do like the Burger King guy. There are certain times throughout that whole campaign where it got a little like weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's some weird versions of that Burger King.
Well, whoever was in charge from 76 to 80 was, God bless them. They were trying, right?
That's right.
It's like they had a whole cast they were trying to develop.
They're like, we want 4 characters. I don't care. We're just going to run them. We're going to split test them and see what happens.
Yeah. And the Wizard of Fries was a robot powered by French fries.
Right.
That you could probably bring back. Maybe AI powered robot or French fry powered AI robot.
Yep.
The Burger King Kids Club gang. I do not remember that one either. But it's got a whole section here on Caucasian male who loved video games and technology. He was the leader of the group. Boomer, a Caucasian tomboy with red hair.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Really goes into some detail on that one. And there was Herb. I think I vaguely remember Herb. But I'm not sure. And then Fighting Chickens and Spicy and TC, whatever that means, 2004. This one I remember. This one is still popular, based right there in Knoxville, right?
Yeah. Duke
Bush's
the dog.
That's right. Bush's Baked Beans. The Canine Companion, who's always trying to sell the owner's secret recipe.
That's right. Voiced by Robert Colt, or Kate. Robert Kate.
Yeah. So I like Bush. I like Duke. Duke was. I like that one. That was a good one. And this one's a little bit different because it was already a character. But Bart Simpson, I would have not have guessed. Bart Simpson has been doing Butterfingers since 1988.
Well, it lasted till 2001.
Yeah. I feel like it was more recent than that, and I don't feel like it was that old, but I guess it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this list just goes on and on. It just goes to show, like,
Captain Crunch. That's iconic.
Yeah. Carfax for Carfax. That one's still running for sure. I definitely remember the California Raisins for a little while. They come and go for sure.
Yeah. Right.
Joe Camel cigarettes. Those are no longer advertised. So
that's interesting. Interesting list here.
Yeah, it really is. Like, you start going back and looking at it, and it's kind of fun to go back. I would go back and look some of these up and see, like, why did the question to ask yourself as a marketer is why do they keep trying to develop characters around products? Like, it must be because when it hits, it works.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have time to go into like details of like the more successful campaigns, like Mr. Whipple from 1965 to 1989 for Charmin. You know, don't squeeze the Charmin.
Yeah.
Now we got the
Chester
little
Cheetah. Look at Chester Cheetah, 1986 to the present for Cheetos.
yeah.
I think there's I mean, and I
What do
have to
you
go back and look, but I think there's a trend that shows that typically with, you know, animals that people kind of favor, there's some success there. But when you start creating these odd looking, you know, characters, you know,
and some of
like,
them are too niche, or there's just not enough character to develop, probably. So, like, I think of this one, the babysitter, and I remember this ad, a Chevy Tahoe ad. Teenager who demands more money after the mother takes her home in the family's new 2015 Chevy Tahoe and believes they are worth more after she sees the features of the Tahoe. So she gets in the car. She's like, "Oh, this is really nice. I'm going to ask for more money." I remember that ad.
yeah,
I thought that was a pretty clever ad. But, you know, something like that, like, how much can you expand that character? And I don't know if that's what makes it work or not work, or these hit or miss. Like, this would be interesting to kind of dive into with some type of marketing expert, maybe on a future show. But I think it's worth asking, you know, would a character do well? Here's one that's been around for a long time: the Chick-fil-A cows. I mean, they've been around
again, another, like, I go back, another animal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, seriously, I mean, there may not be anything to that, but yeah, the cows have been around since
95.
95. Okay.
Yeah.
And then remember, you used to get the, of course, they don't do it. I don't know if they still do the cow calendars. Does Chick-fil-A still do that? I'm not sure if they do,
I
but
don't know.
those things were so popular because it's like
You always got at least like one free thing every month, right?
Exactly.
I don't think they do the free thing every even if they do the calendars, I think they were called
the calendars. Of course.
But yeah, that the eat more chicken phrase, like, so simple, right? Eat more chicken.
Yeah.
It's a cow. Everybody else serves burgers.
Yeah, we used to give those calendars out as Christmas gifts among the family. I mean, those were like those, because that was like money right there.
Yeah.
Every month. That's
seriously, like, it's $5 worth of food every month. That's a $60 gift. It's not bad. And it's good marketing, right? Because it gets you to come in 12 times a year.
Right. Yep.
And you know you're not going to just get the free thing. Like, you're going to get something else.
No, you're going to add on to it. Yeah, it was brilliant on their part. That's why I don't understand if they haven't got, because I don't see those calendars anymore when I go in.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, maybe they were too successful.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe people weren't buying enough afterwards. So then there's like Chicken of the Sea, Mermaid, Mother Nature, Chiquita Bananas. I remember that one. You know, the Colombian. I don't know what nationality she was. I'll probably get in trouble. We'll get canceled for that if I chose the wrong one. Chuck E. Cheese, obviously. I do not remember this one. Front Row Joe. But then I don't go to. I think that might be one that's like in the pre-roll of the movies. Like, you have to be in the theater probably to see it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like the little. I don't remember that, but I know they have the little cereal characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Flintstones for Cocoa and Fruity Pebbles.
And Flintstones vitamins. Do they still have Flintstone vitamins? I don't know.
I used to eat those things like candy. I do know.
I know.
That. Like,
because they probably weren't even. There's no nutrition.
They were kind of sour.
No nutritional value whatsoever. I mean,
they were almost like kind of like sour.
Yeah, they were tart.
Yeah, they had this tartness to them. But yeah, I literally remember crawling up in the cabinet, grabbing those things, and eating almost a whole bottle of them. So I would probably be the kid that would have eaten
the whole bottle. You probably got a fraction of the vitamin C you needed, I'm sure.
Exactly. Like 20% of the daily recommended allowance. So yeah, this is just really interesting. Condom Man. I don't remember that one. Of course, we remember the Coppertone Girl. You know, she's still on billboards from time to time. The little toddler with her pants pulled down. It's kind of weird if you think about it, but and then there was another one on here that I thought was really pretty good. The Verizon guy, you know, originally then switched to Sprint.
Oh yeah, right.
That
Yeah.
that was a that was one
Can
of
you
my
hear me now?
favorite, like, moves, like, when he went to sprint,
Yeah.
that was just
Yeah.
so classic.
Yep.
And you and I have talked before on this show about the PC versus the Mac characters.
Oh yeah. Those
Remember
two
that
guys. I'm a
campaign was
Mac and
really
I'm a
good.
PC.
Yeah,
Some of the best commercials ever you'll find.
yeah.
And you know,
The Noid from Domino's Pizza, that was weird, but, I remember that for sure.
avoid the Noid. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Um, Most Interesting Man in the World, that was a very successful campaign. They say it's still running, but I don't remember I
I
thought
think they still run it, but they don't use this. It's not the same
yeah, it's
character as
like
they
his
started with.
it's like his son or something. It's
Yeah.
a younger or it's actually, I think it's the prequel, isn't it? Isn't that what they decided? It's like him when it was younger.
When he was young. Yeah.
It's the same guy,
Yeah.
but it's
Right.
supposed to be him when it's younger.
Right.
Because they just needed a new guy.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, I mean, you just scroll through here and it brings back some memories for sure. Energizer Bunny, that's another
Hmm.
classic that's been around for a long time,
Yeah.
and that's one you almost can't get rid of, right? It's like,
It's
well,
a
what do you
classic.
like?
Another animal. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
there's a
there's something about
pattern here.
animals. Like, how do you kill off the Energizer Bunny? Because I mean,
That's right. You can. It's a
you
cute
can't.
bunny with a drum.
Well, and if you kill him off, that means the battery died or
That's right.
something. Like, you just
Yeah,
can't kill him
exactly.
off.
That's right.
So he'll be around forever.
They're stuck with
Um,
him.
there's the tiger from Exxon.
Hmm.
That's still kind of used,
Another
another
animal.
animal for you. Um, yeah, so I mean, I remember this one too, the Federal Express, the fast talking executive. I do remember that one. That
Oh
was a
yeah,
long
yeah,
time ago.
yeah.
Um,
Some of those some of those FedEx commercials from back in the day are absolutely hilarious.
yeah,
If you find them, they're so funny.
yeah, because they were really trying to get you to do something that had never been done before, right? Like,
Right.
it was such a new thing.
Hmm.
Now FedEx is not that special, but back in
Yeah.
the day, like, to absolutely positively get something there overnight was like a big deal.
The still one of the funniest ones. I think I've sent this to you with it's the band members from this it's like this metal group. They're trying to send their golf clubs, or they're bringing their golf clubs with them, and their managers trying to get them to ship them overnight. It's hilarious.
I don't remember that one.
Oh
Um,
man.
so yeah, I mean, they just keep going. The Geico Gecko, the Geico Caveman.
Yeah.
I don't remember Maxwell the Geico Pig. So there's an animal that it says is still going.
Still going. There you go.
Uh, I don't,
Animals.
I don't know
Here's
if
the
that's true.
takeaway lesson: is use animals as
Use
your
animals in your advertising.
in your advertising. That's what you need to learn from
Well,
this
Dan Kennedy
episode.
uses a bull, right?
That's right.
It's got a name, Bruno the Bull.
Exactly.
Um,
So that's your takeaway. You're like, okay, what's the point? Hey, we're telling you, use an animal. Every one of these so far that has the longest that has the longest time frame from
Yes.
running ads.
Yep.
The characters have all been animals so far.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
your longevity hinges on you using a cute animal.
Or it has to be like a super like I look at like the Hawaiian Punch guy, right? Like, it is the product but animated.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, those are the two
Yep.
that seem to last the longest.
Yep.
That yeah, so I remember Mr. Opportunity for Honda,
Yeah.
Buzz the Bee, there's another animal, insect
Yep.
technically.
That's right.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah, so yeah, you may be on
It's
something,
hard to
Jack.
get annoyed with a cute animal,
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
think that's
most people love dogs. Most people love, farm animals. I mean, horses, Clydesdales. I mean, how
yep,
could you not? I mean, I mean, that's iconic. The Clydesdales just,
yeah.
every year, during a Super Bowl commercial, you're going to see at least one commercial with the Clydesdales.
Yeah, what do they add in with the Clydesdales? A puppy.
Yep.
If they add
Mhm.
anything in, it's a puppy.
That's right.
So yeah, it's like, so yeah, use the big point of this is figure out a character that you could develop for
Mhm.
your this one's popular. Another insurance. Like, insurance, man, they love their characters.
Mhm.
Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Oh yeah, those run
Those run all the
all the
time on the
time.
football.
Yeah,
During
absolutely.
football games.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the little yeah. So yeah, just keep. Now I'm gonna have to come up with a animal for my coaching business or something. I think so. So yeah, so that's the big takeaway is use find a character, play around with a couple characters. The other thing I think is characters can say things that humans cannot say. Like if it's over the, and we've talked about this before with hyperbole, and if you go over the top, people will give you some grace and they understand what you're doing.
Right.
And I think you can do that more with animals, even so than with even like a human character, like a Flo or a Mayhem or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, Mayhem's pretty over the top. So that one's, the other thing about animals is they don't age, right? So you never age out of your advertising.
Absolutely.
It's like a good that's the problem with family sitcoms is like the kids get old and it gets weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, think about like characters and mascots, for our favorite teams. Most of those are animals, right?
Yeah.
There's some exceptions, but most of them are.
Unless it's like the new pro sports, those are all like things like tornadoes and.
Well, yeah. But I'm thinking the collegiate type, old, traditional mascots.
The North Dakota Cold Fronts.
Yeah, that's just not the.
But the Power Five is definitely tends to be animals.
Yeah.
The more obscure you get, like the WNBA, it's like they've got some weird names, like that aren't animals.
Right.
I guess because all the animals are taken at this point. Like,
right.
I mean, how many bulldogs are there? There's like everybody's got a bulldog. It seems like.
Yeah.
But there's some animals, that you don't see enough of.
Right.
Right. Like a rhino. A rhino is a pretty cool animal.
It is.
And very few people have a rhino as a mascot.
It would be a great mascot.
So yeah, like rhinos are impressive. I don't know why there's not more rhinos. So there's one you could use if depending on if you're like in a security company or like something like that, like a rhino could be cool. But yeah, I think using more mascots, using these characters that have some personality, it'll just allows you to get away with more and to say things in a way that a human would not say. Like the Chick-fil-A cows, like they can misspell everything, and that's part of the charm, right?
Exactly. On the billboards, exactly.
Yeah. And they're not supposed to be defending themselves, so it kind of makes it interesting. It's a pattern interrupt, like all those things. So, definitely use those. The currently speaking of football and stuff, Dr. Pepper and their whole Fansville, that's pretty cool.
It is,
but all those
carried that on for the last 4 years now,
at least, yeah. But all those people are going to age out. Like it's going to get, as they start to get older, whatever. It's going to be hard to keep them around for 30 years. Like you're just not going to do it,
right?
Like the cow or the duck or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I think you choose the animal characters over.
Absolutely.
Unless you're choosing something like a cartoon character that doesn't age, like Bart Simpson for Butterfinger. One of those things. So keep all that in mind as you're thinking about characters to use and developing. But like I said, they could just get away with more. And I know Dan Kennedy's talked about this, like having like a dog as your spokesperson in emails. Let's say you own a mechanics. You're a mechanic and you own a garage.
Yeah,
you could have the garage dog. He can say things that you can't say in an email.
Absolutely. Right.
And so you have more leverage and more leadway on what you can say with a character.
Yep.
So that's all I got, man.
Good stuff. Well, we got to talk about the dollar.
Oh yeah. Glad you remember. Just sitting over here and I forgot about it.
Because I'm sitting on anticipate. I'm sitting here with I can't wait to hear what the ad is for.
Yeah. So I'm on. So this I will say this guy is a professional copywriter. Okay. Now he's much more of an affiliate marketer. He does more of his own stuff.
Gotcha.
And he does affiliate marketing stuff. But this is the envelope I got. So all the stuff, right? Live stamp.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Trademark. It does have a return address, but there's no name. It's just the address.
Okay.
It's got the handwritten font. Right. It is, computer printed, but at first glance, it definitely looks. And it was kind of thick. Like I don't know how many pages it is. So I opened it up. I'm like, I can tell that's printed font. Like it's a little too straight, but I don't know who it's from. And it's kind of thick. So I'm going to open it up. I open it up, and the first thing you see is the dollar bill peeking through.
Sure.
You're like,
yeah.
Like, oh crap, is that a 20 or a 1? Like, I don't know. And it is Christmas time. Like, it's a good time to send out money gifts if you think about it, because people are hoping for money in their cards and stuff like that. Yeah. So this is let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets of paper printed front and back. Okay. So folded over, so it's it's fairly thick in the thing. And it says on the cover, it says, from Caleb O'Dowd, Miami Beach, Florida, Tuesday, 11:17 a.m. Dear Sean, so classic opening, right?
Yeah.
Dear Sean, as you can see, I've attached a $1 bill to the top of this letter. Why have I done this? Actually, there are 2 reasons. Like, he didn't change a word of that phrase.
Right.
First, I have something urgent and important to tell you, so I needed a way to make sure this letter would catch your attention. And second, since what I'm writing to you about concerns a way to enjoy a lot of financial success in the first 6 months of 2023, I thought using a dollar bill as a little eye catcher was especially appropriate. So here's what's interesting about this letter. Caleb is a world-class copywriter. Mm-hmm. He could have changed that however he wanted and probably done fine.
Is that word for word from, is it the original Gary Halbert? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the 2023 and like the first 6 months, but yeah, the first 2 lines are word for word.
Yeah.
Part 2 is a little bit different, but the last sentence, I thought using a dollar bill as a little eye catcher was especially appropriate, is exactly the same. Here's what it's all about. I've been telling people for 2 years now, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes in and he just, he talks about, what he's doing. He was a guest speaker recently and blah, blah, blah. So he's basically pitching one of his programs. And inside there's lots of case studies.
Yeah.
Got some graphics, lots of case studies.
Right.
But it's a classic. I mean, the letter is fairly, like, he didn't change much. He just dropped his own stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about creating mini groups on Facebook is the offer. But the main thing is he used a letter that has been used for probably 30 years. Talk about using stuff that's been used for a long time. Like,
it got your attention.
It got my attention. Now, the only thing I will say from a segmentation standpoint is already have this program from him. So he messed up on that part.
He wasted
$1 and maybe $2 total with the thing. Yeah. But even so, it got my attention.
Sure.
But yeah, his list segmentation was off. So keep that in mind as you're doing stuff. But yeah, it's
sure.
But the big thing is, like, he's smart enough, he's successful enough, he could have created his own letter of some kind, and he chose to use something that has been proven to work time and time again.
Time and time again.
So why
and even more so in a very tight market,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's the big stuff, man, for the pre-holiday episode.
I love it.
Or post-holiday, depending on when you're listening.
Good stuff, man. Well, that'll wrap up our show. We'll be doing one more episode before the final episode of the year, or that will be the final episode of the year. So we'll probably be hitting the 300 sometime into January. Have to do a after holiday celebration.
Yeah,
for that episode.
Yep.
So, but to all of our listeners, huh?
I was just going to say, we're coming east. I think late January, early February. We might be able to hit that with me in studio.
Yeah,
that would be
good.
Cool.
That would be cool.
We'll have to see if we can make that happen.
That would be awesome, man. Right here in the old studio, back where we started.
Yeah.
Let's plan on it.
All right.
What's the date on that?
So we're gonna go back east and help Dustin, my son, move.
Right.
He's in Asheville, so we'll have to come through Knoxville.
Okay.
So we're going to help him move. And I think that's it's really more like the end of February. So I don't know if we'll be able to hit it or not. But I mean, 10 episodes still. I mean, that's
possible.
So.
Well, we'll keep everyone posted. That'll be fun. And then we'll have to have some guests on, maybe David, some other people that have been on our show in the past. And
Yeah, we can get Ben to come out.
Yeah, that would be great, man.
Yeah.
Little in studio episode with the
Yeah.
cameras and everything. I got all the equipment here, just
Yeah.
collecting dust. It needs
Yeah.
need to put it to use.
Pound out a couple bench press and
That's right. That's right. We can get a workout in while we're here. All right, cool deal. Well, to all of our listeners, hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Sean, hope you and your family have a great Christmas, man. It's been a lot of fun this year. Again, this is not our final episode. We'll do one more next week, but hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and stay warm, man. We got some cold weather coming our way over the weekend for sure.
It's already here.
It's there for you.
Yeah,
we're about to get it.
Yeah,
we got frozen pipes and everything probably coming our way. We'll see.
There you go. All right.
But yeah, to all of our listeners, persuasionbythepint.com. You can find us on all of your podcast platforms, Stitcher Radio, iHeart, Spotify, you name it. We're there. And we'll see you all next time.
See ya.
All right.